How much battery does the AC use? Stay tuned because today we're going to answer that. First, let's address the elephant in the room. There are countless variables which will drastically change the AC energy consumption. Some of the most important things to consider would be extreme temperatures, for obvious reasons, extreme humidity, as it takes energy to remove the moisture from the air, the number of windows in the van. For the sake of efficiency, the fewer the better. The internal air volume of the van. Our extended Chevy Express has around 250 cubic feet of air volume in the living area once you subtract for the bed and cabinets. The Sprinter van can more than double that figure. After a long drive, you'll need to account for residual heat leakage from the engine, transmission, and exhaust. The heat from solar chargers and power inverters is another negative contributor. Then there's heat from cooking. Heat from your refrigerator or freezer. And finally, your quality of insulation, which we're about to dive into with this video. Around 50% of this van's vertical surface is covered in windows. The remaining wall and ceiling surfaces are insulated with shredded fiberglass. So instead of only showing you the AC power consumption of this van, I think it would be interesting to see how a perfectly insulated living area would compare. So I went out and grabbed a second 6000 BTU AC unit. Unfortunately, my exact Toshiba unit wasn't available, so I went with this comparable GE unit. The GE air conditioner uses around 8.6% less electricity, so keep that in mind during the test. For our insulated living area mock-up, I'm using a simple 3/4 inch polyiso foam board with an R value of 5.0. The seams are joined with an economy masking tape. The internal air volume of the box is 256 cubic feet. The air volume of the van's living area is 250 cubic feet. If our insulated box were 1 foot wider, it would be equal to the full air volume of the van, which includes the cockpit. But it's not, so remember that while we collect our data. Although the GE compressor uses less energy than the Toshiba, both fans use nearly the same power, so I'll run those on high throughout the entire test. Finally, I'll put the van into maximum efficiency mode. Don't get too excited, I'm just throwing up our insulated window covers and this cheap windshield cover. Now let's check with our friends at ABC 12 for today's weather report.
And across mid-Michigan today, we're tracking another warm day here with temperatures warming up into the middle to upper 80s. I wouldn't be surprised if some of us do touch 90 degrees later this afternoon.
Sounds perfect for us. And that's it. I'm ready to start taking my readings, so let's jump into this data sheet. I'll be running this test for 12 hours total, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Our internal temperatures of the van and box will be taken remotely from a point halfway between the ground and ceiling. I'll update these hourly. Our outside temperature will also be updated hourly. Now let me explain what and why this AC duty cycle is important. It's a measurement of compressor runtime over a given period. Say the AC is on for 30 minutes and off for 30 minutes, that's a 50% duty cycle. And it's the same concept if it's on for 15, off for 15, then on for 15 again, then off again. If the duty cycle is exceedingly high, the unit is probably undersized for the application. However, it's also a problem to have the air conditioner oversized for the space it's cooling. As with everything in life, it's all about balance. I'll be updating the AC duty cycle numbers hourly. If you'd like to follow along with a visual of the AC duty cycle, keep an eye on the compressor status for both units. And finally, I'll be dividing the cumulative wattage by 12.6 to give us our amp hours. This test isn't accounting for power inverter conversion losses, which are typically between 3 to 10%. Did I cover everything? I sure hope so. Let's get the show on the road. Okay, so I'm not going to stop at every hour mark of the test, but let's look at these numbers. Outside temperature increased, van temperature increased, box decreased. The van has a duty cycle of 8.3%, meaning the compressor ran for just under 5 minutes in the first hour. The box ran the compressor for just under 9 minutes. Amp hour numbers are self-explanatory. Let's keep rolling. You can already see the van's duty cycle is up near 50% and the interior temperature is rising. Wow, look at that duty cycle. From noon to 1 p.m. the compressor ran for over 58 minutes and the interior temperature still continued to rise. Our box on the other hand is doing fantastic. 100% duty cycle on the van. And there we go. A full 12 hours totaled 171 amp hours for the insulated box and a whopping 388 amp hours for the van. You should also note the insulated box never exceeded a 35% compressor duty cycle, while the van's air conditioner was clearly underpowered. Keep in mind the amount of battery power you need will also depend on your solar setup. On a nice sunny day, we can manage quite a few hours of AC usage without ever touching our batteries. Finally, let's cover our key takeaways. Firstly, foam board is truly the king of insulation in terms of R value per inch of thickness, and yes, it beats 3M Thinsulate and obliterates our van's shredded fiberglass. Also, quite obviously, windows are bad. If you insist on having windows, just know that while Reflectix does help a bit, it's no super insulator. You should really make some contoured foam board window covers, or if you're feeling spendy, get an infrared blocking ceramic window tint. Just know in advance that the latter could run between $750 to $1,000 US. But that's about it. I hope you found this test insightful. I'm excited to learn from others' experiences down in the comments, and please let me know if there are any important points I've missed. Other than that, I'll just remind you to drink water and stay cool out there, my friends. Until next time.